Hello to all. My name is Rebecca Torsha, and I'm running as the representative candidate for Colin Wight in Canada. And I'm here to talk about the core ideas behind his party. So, it is important for me and for my party, which we stand for, that we present to you all the information and facts that are related to our mission and our position during this global election. So, to be transparent about our policies, this is what we believe in. So, this is something that we want to share with you guys. We stand for truth based on factual empirical evidence and proper objectivity, and we fight for a system that encourages educated opinions and access to information to all equally. So this is for a system that encourages uh, this type of behavior to be able to flourish amongst all people and to attain social order and peace amongst our human society. So to better explain our positions, I'll be using Wight's article entitled Post-Truth, Postmodernism, and Alternative Facts in the New Perspectives journal to better explain the concepts and theories that are attached to our cause. So we also welcome criticism and discussion, and we hope to further explore our ideas with you. This to achieve the best truths and change this postmodern era for the better. So first of one of our policies and what we believe in is the idea of eliminating identity politics. So this is very important because this is crucial in how we develop certain ideals and truths among societies. So this is a quote from White's article, which states that identity politics is a plea for us to give up any notion of objectivity in the sense of trying to remain unbiased. This is because identity politics privileges social location over facts. Identity politics demands that we see group loyalty as taking priority over facts. Loyalty under identity politics is to the group, not to the facts. Indeed, pointing to facts that run counter to the identity of a group one belongs to could lead to expulsion from the group. Moreover, this is particularly the case in the very concept of objective truth is denied. So these are on pages 20 to 21. So what this basically means is that we and White warn that the advent of post-truths in this society and bias is in part a result of identity politics, which is a political stance that favors the group mentality in this decision-making process, which inevitably creates a bias towards one's group and therefore does not allow for an objective perspective that allows for all parties involved to review all possibilities and outcomes of a certain situation. So furthermore, if we apply that to society, if each and every subgroup within one society only look out for themselves, the result of this is that nothing can be really achieved because everyone's kind of looking for themselves instead of looking at the facts that are involved in this issue. So we also believe along White that the epistemological view of objective truth that we have been comfortable with should not discourage us from actually approaching truth. Basically, if we let ourselves fooled by complacency with our fallibility, basically the fact that we as humans do end up being fooled easily by false news or false information, we are only left with subjective truths, or in this case, what he would describe as intersubjective truth, which do not help guiding us in maintaining social order or establishing socio-political ways of functioning, which is also something that he states on page 21 of his article. So the second point that we wanted to address as well when speaking of our policy and the things that we want to achieve is understanding, locating, and eliminating post-truths. So this will be a little bit of a handful. So to better explain it, so White's theory basically argues that the post-truths are not to be found and analyzed in the realm of production of post-truths, so at the very source. Rather, our attention as politicians should be on where the post-truths are received, so who gets that information and where, and who are the targets of deceptive rumors and lies, which is quoted from page 22. So in this case, the goal of post-truth is to exemplify the embedded beliefs and misconceptions, that already inhabit citizens. So therefore, it would be crucial to establish a consistent system of education and misinformation prevention that would help people on Earth learn the proper tools necessary to identify and reject false information, that explicitly target their possible ignorance or biases that they already have. So the whole point is to not necessarily stop misinformation at its source, but rather at its source receiver. So the people who are the ones receiving that, since like Wight mentioned, it's inevitable that there's also going to be misinformation and the propagation of misconstrued realities. But what we can change is how people receive it and how they analyze the information they receive as citizens. So basically, the other thing that some people could argue against this is that truth itself, or facts, or social contracts. And what we believe in is, even though facts that constitute truths are understood through sociology as social constructs, this is a quote from Wight as well. Facts express a relationship between what we can claim and the state of the world. So facts are those particular social constructions that we use to describe states of affairs. So in other words, that means that even though these can be socially constructed, they are still ways that we have institutionalized to better understand what is going on and what to describe as well in terms of social phenomena, and etc. So basically, despite this existence of alternative facts, we and Wight do not support that these can solely work on paradigms, as these are based on pre-established truths. So these are always the foundations of whatever ideas or opinions may be circulated, which so amid this allows unrealistic expectations of relativity and perceived reception of the information. And this is something that we criticize amongst other administrations, such as the Trump administration in the US or the Venezuela Maduro administration, which encouraged the sort of relativity and sort of paradigms, and they benefit from as well. So the third point and our third stance that we fully encourage in our campaign at the moment is the looking at postmodernist trends and other sources of post-truths, and not necessarily looking at postmodernism as the sole issue at hand. So as Wight said, postmodernism is only the most radical version of the idea that we should value and also allow a voice to all opinions. So that's on page 25. So basically, postmodernism, like I mentioned, is not the only problem to having alternative truths and false information, etc. It's basically rather the ideas and principles of having open opinions and relativity. They actually emerge from scholarly academics. Basically, these sources like Wight and also other authors or theorists that he mentions, like Colin, Foucault, and Wittgenstein, their ideas loosen. They basically lose their. They kind of grasp their meaning in a sense. We lose the meaning that they originally had, rather because of interpretation and the looseness of interpretation. People can actually look back to these authors and theorists and sociologists and use that as a matter of justifying their own opinions and own constructed realities. So really, like I mentioned, it's not the postmodernism, but rather it's a structural issue that combines all of these aspects. And another factor of this is because of the increased education that people have, it's easier for them to have access to these theories and these readings and whatnot. But it makes it harder to follow the progression of how these truth claims are created from these sources and how they're propagated afterwards. So what we propose in terms of solutions for these kind of issues as a party in this campaign, we first of all would like to help unify the academics and to basically help situate critical approaches to the production of knowledge in context. We need to go beyond merely introducing students to critique, and we explore with them the validity of arguments. Following on, we need to be prepared to say that some perspectives are better than others and explain why. This is an attempt to put forward and organize which ideas are valid and those who are not. And that is on page 26. So that is a very important aspect of our mission. We believe that if we create an environment that is not only propice to all of individuals to have access to information and education, but also that is properly basically countered and framed in a way that helps them guide morally in what is wrong and what is right in terms of knowledge and opinion. We believe that it will be easier to actually prevent misinformation and false news from spreading around. Our second decree and second promise to you is to establish a new form of international unity, not based on identity politics, but rather on one based on common desire to better the overall human experience and follow empirical evidence to maintain a general census. Um, so, in other words, it might sound a little contradicting, but what we in Wight have come up with is that this new form of international unity would not necessarily be divisive where each group belongs to one another, but rather that we look at as one group as what is going to advantage us as a whole and look at our empirical evidence in the most rational way possible. And that falls into our third point. Basically, we want to recover a global commitment to objective truth, which is going to be central to our government and to the functioning of human society. We believe that it will help to regain certain of the hopes of the Enlightenment by reinforcing an ontological evidence. Sorry for that. So, this is our method to strengthen the rules, the laws and rights that are not only under the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, but all related documents that are related to all international relationships, which will ultimately lead to social order, as we believe, and the respect of the social norms and values that are agreed upon by all human beings and respected by them, and also to lead to global peace. So this will be mainly achieved by establishing a large set of educative systems that have for goal to better inform the population and clearly define which truths matter. So thank you for your attention. I hope that this presentation has addressed your concerns about Wight's vision, about the world and what we are trying to achieve. If you have any questions or comments about our mission, do not hesitate to contact me as a representative for the country of Canada or via email or social media. And we hope to count on your vote and on your support for this global election campaign, and then to see you also join us in this movement for true truth, quote unquote, or rather an objective truth that we can all agree upon and that is always respected and that is well educated upon. So for this objective truth that will be for the betterment of humanity. So thank you and have a good evening.